Hi, I'm Peter Jones, Chartered Surveyor, author and property investor. How common are down valuations and what do I do if I have one? Well, sadly, they are quite common. Whether they're more common now than at other times remains to be seen, and I would suggest that probably it's a function of the economic cycle and the market cycle. When the market's booming, you're probably less likely to have a down valuation. If the market is a little bit flat or even going down a little bit, you're probably more likely to have a down valuation, because when the market isn't doing so well, the values are probably going to be a bit more cautious, and there isn't that sort of buffer which they can use. I mean, if the market's booming and they put a valuation on the property, 3 months later it might be worth 10% more, and there's a buffer. So even if the market fell, there's still enough there for them not to get their knuckles wrapped. Because the thing that the banks are worried, well, the valuers are worried about, is that the banks are going to sue them if everything goes horribly wrong. So the valuer is going to be cautious just to really protect themselves, just in case the bank come after them. And we kind of get stuck in the middle of that. We're the collateral damage between these two opposing forces. And oftentimes there's not very much we can do about it. Now, when it happens, what can we do? Well, in theory, you could appeal to the bank, but most times the bank are going to stand shoulder to shoulder with the valuer and say it's the valuer's decision, we're going with the valuer. The only time a bank is likely to listen, even if you produce reams and reams of comparables showing that they're wrong, and by the way, I've done this, so I know how frustrating this can be, but the only time they're probably going to agree to looking at the valuation is if there's a material mistake. So that could be something like the valuer didn't spot there was a garage, or the valuer miscounted the number of bedrooms. There's 4 bedrooms, but they only counted 3. But it's got to be something like that. If it's just a quibble over you think it's worth 120, but they valued it at 110, not going to happen. So how do you get around that? Well, if it's absolutely critical that you get the right valuation, then probably the best way forward is to have a word with your mortgage broker, and hopefully you've got a good mortgage broker. If you haven't got a mortgage broker, you need a good mortgage broker, and I'm very happy to recommend mine. So just email me, thepropertyteacher@gmail.com, and I will put you in touch with my mortgage broker. But ask your mortgage broker to apply to a different bank, because if it's a different bank, you'll probably have a different valuer come out, a valuer who maybe have a different opinion and a different view, because at the end of the day, the value of the property is about opinion, and everybody's got a different opinion. You can have 3 different valuers go out to look at the same property and have 3 different opinions. So to get a new valuer on the scene to do the valuation, you maybe just have to put an application in with a new bank. It's tedious, it's obviously going to cost you more, there's going to be more fees involved, but if it's going to help you to get the figure that you want, and that's critical to your success because perhaps you're refinancing and you want to get all of your money out, or most of your money out of the deal, then that can be worth doing. Well, I hope you found that informative and inspirational. And if you want help in property, please do come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk. Loads of great resources there, including my blog. There's loads of free videos, loads of great articles. There's free reports to download, including Learning with Peter, where you'll be able to access resources like my video courses, like my ebooks, including my home study course, the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, which I've literally sold thousands of copies of, which takes you through how I started in property, literally with none of my own money, but how I was able to build a portfolio of £2 million worth of property in just 4 years. I'll show you everything that I did right so that you can do the same, and I'll show you everything that I did wrong. I'll tell you about all of my mistakes so that you can avoid them, so that you can progress in property far more quickly than me. Until next time, here's to successful property investing.